I'm gonna keep rewinding this until I get it right. The episode hasn't started yet. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the XenoRob show. I did that on the first try. Anyway, last time we were talking about Sonic's impact, we were talking about how the marketing has basically kind of paved the way for the console wars. But today I kind of want to talk about Sonic's impact as a character and why I think he stuck around for so long. Because it is, there's a lot of things about Sonic, even though the games have had a mixed history. I think Sonic, even if like Frontiers is bad, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, if Frontiers is bad, it's the end of Sega." It's not the end of Sega, because Sonic is kind of eternal, kind of like Doom. And I don't mean that as in Sonic will never die or nothing will ever happen to Sonic. He'll probably go through another low point, even if we do get a high point with Frontiers. But I think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating to look at this character and just how impactful it is. Because I think Sonic at this point almost has had a bigger impact than Mario even. Like, Mario games are way better. Everyone I know would much rather play a Mario game than a Sonic game. And, I am somewhat the same way. I'd much rather play Mario Galaxy than this right now, but I do not have Mario Galaxy on my PC because I don't have the NVIDIA thing only available in China that I don't think is still running anymore. Yeah, this is an interesting game, and the reason I was mostly talking about the marketing in terms of Sonic's impact and not the game itself is because this game, while good, there was a lot of growing pains with it. And a big part of that is simply just due to the fact that there really was never a game like this. And a lot of the other games from this era, like, you know, your other platformers, like Mega Man 2, Mario 2, Mario 3, which was out by now. Very different games. We're going to have to play this safe now. And while Sonic's big emphasis was the speed, it's not fully utilized in this game at all. Like, the place we were just hanging out, that was more of a maze than anything. And now we're going to a fun stage, which is the Spring Yard. Spring Yard's a lot of fun. But yeah, the game itself doesn't really fully deliver on its concept, which is disappointing ultimately. But I do still really like this game. I have a lot of fun memories. This was the second Sonic game I ever played. The first one was Sonic Generations on 3DS. If that doesn't sound scary to you, then you never played Generations on 3DS. It's a good game. That's what I keep telling myself. But there's a lot of really questionable design choices. So really, this game wasn't really anything out of the ordinary for Sonic for me when I first played it. But yeah, looking at it now, and also looking at Sonic Generations on 3DS, it's definitely a situation that's a little... Yeah. But, like, I got Sonic Generations shortly after it released on 3DS. As soon as I got a 3DS, practically. And, I really liked it. I think Generations is one of the best Sonic games to start with, best one of the Sonic games to try. Because effectively, depending on what stages you like, will kind of tell you what Sonic games to get. If you like the Genesis levels more, you're going to want to probably play something like Origins or the Classic Collection or one of the dozens of Sega collections out there. If you enjoy the Dreamcast levels more, like I do, and like Sonic Heroes stage and stuff like that, you'll probably want to pick up a GameCube, play through 3D games. Because that's the one place you can still play through all of them. Because Heroes is not natively available on PC, even though there's like a PC port. It's not the easiest thing to track down, you know, legally. But, you know, you can just download that and run it, or even just run the GameCube version through an emulator. I do not emulate games normally, but, and, like, the whole legality thing of it is sketchy, so it's like, I'm not gonna tell you to go do illegal things, so no one really knows about the subject, because it is a very ethical gray area. I'm just saying it's a possible, just like you could commit murder, even though I don't recommend it, because murder is kind of dumb. Like, it's just lame, like, if you, like, it's cringe. And I didn't mean to get political, but yeah, I think murder is pretty cringe. Yeah, this channel is essentially just going to be, or like, not this channel, because I'm still going to put serious stuff on, but these videos are just going to be the ramblings of a sad old man who does not understand the timeline he exists in, essentially. Because that's me, Mario. Yeah, I probably should disclose that earlier. My real name is not actually Rob, it's Mario. Yeah, I played through Generations, and then I remember going to Target, and they had, like, a bargain bin section. This was, like, early 2012, you know, right after Generations came out. And they had some Sonic games in there, and I could have gotten this, Sonic Colors, or, well, this being the Sonic Classic Collection on the DS. They had, like, that, Sonic Rush, and Sonic Colors. Now, I love Sonic Colors on the DS, and I love Sonic Rush. It's one of my favorite Sonic games of all time, as I've discussed that before. But I went with the Classic Collection because I thought Classic Sonic was cuter, and even though I liked the modern stages better, I wanted to experience where it kind of, how it all began. I always had a fascination with playing like old games or games released early in a franchise's life, because you get that level of history. You don't really get that otherwise. Like, I think the Mega Man Zero and like some of the Mega Man X games are way better than the a lot of the NES titles, but I think they're still important to play. I think the same way with stuff like Mario is that you got to try out the NES games at some point, because even if they don't inherently appeal to you, it's an important piece of history, and I think it's cool to check that stuff out and see how the games have changed over time. And then every time Nintendo dangles the nostalgia for Mario 1 and shoves it down your throat like they always do, you'll be a bit more ready for it, which is, kind of cool. It's good to be ready. It's good to be ready for Nintendo doing their shenanigans. I guess that's actually another thing we should probably talk about. I forget what the subject of this episode was. But yeah, the Sonic's impact. We were going to talk about that. I think the Sonic series has actually had a pretty good impact, all things considered. Because you may look at it and say, like, oh, it created a generation of children who draw themselves as Sonic characters. But even so, even if that may be, kind of cringy, I think anything that encourages kids to be creative is a good thing. And I think Sonic, because of its music, because of its, like, energy and its characters and design and a lot of this other stuff, Sonic is really unique. There's a unique energy to Sonic. There's a unique art style, art direction. I know the difference of those because I am an art guy. But, like, the vibe of Sonic is just something that's really unreplicatable. Because even though, like, a lot of people like to poke fun at Sonic, Sonic is cool. Sonic is undeniably cool in a lot of ways. And, we can do this now. Forgot about that. We're gonna do a quick load. Oh wow, that's trippy. This emulator is weird. This is the Sega emulator that came with the ROM. But yeah, Sonic is way more than I think a lot of people give it credit for, because most people kind of just look at it as, oh, it's the funny games that don't always work good. But Sonic is a comic series. It's a series of cartoons, multiple cartoons, some of which are pretty good. Sonic Boom is really funny, despite its... I think the over-reliance on meta-humor does work a bit better in that show, because it's not like its entire identity. Its entire identity is more to be like a fun parody of not just Sonic the Hedgehog, but also like just action cartoons in general. And I think that works really well for it, even if at the point when it does try to be just a standard action cartoon, it does fall flat a little. But, I think it's a fascinating show and definitely worth a watch. Even if it's just like an out-of-context YouTube compilation. It's worth checking out. And Sonic SatAM, which I love to death. Even though I've not seen a lot of it, I mostly just love it for the characters because I grew up on the Archie comics. And IDW is very good. Having a Sonic universe where Ian Flynn is writing everything from the start is a hugely good thing. Like, a very, very good thing. I also can't kind of see all the stages because I've got a mic set up because I'm relaxing right now. Just trying to vibe and play a game. It's Dr. Robotnik. Ah, he's here. But yeah, and the thing is, even though it's a little goofy in some ways, like, Sonic isn't the most serious thing out there. It's not the most complex thing out there. But I do think the themes of sort of environmentalism that are very heavily present in a lot of the older games, and the characters, I think they do resonate so much to a lot of people that the point that it is a really important series. It's a series that inspires people, inspires kids, inspires fan game developers. The Sonic fan game community is insane. And so I do think even with all of the problems that come with it, I think Sonic is a net positive, just because of, even if it's not what it has accomplished, but what it has inspired other people to accomplish, is a really worthwhile thing. So I just think that's cool. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back for the Labyrinth Zone, which I'm not looking forward to.